Well, good evening and welcome to About the Valley, and we're right in your store.
Yep.
This is Barbara Connors. Barbara has a store down at our old studio down on Route 122 across from the chiropractic office. If you're going by, and what Barbara does is specialize in stained glass. So as you see right here on the table in front and wherever. And we're talking, I stopped down there out of curiosity to see what's going on and found out, oh, this is unique. Not, how many people do, I don't know of anyone that does this other than yourself.
Oh, there's a lot of people around who make stained glass.
But they do it as a hobby.
Well, even as a small business,
Really?
they sell stuff on the internet, or they do craft shows or custom design work.
We're talking about the internet. That's how the internet is changing the world.
It is. It
Yeah,
absolutely
I mean,
is.
you probably do more internet business than you do people walking in, right?
Well, I don't sell online.
Oh, you don't?
No, it's the advantage that I have over online stores is that people can come in and pick out their own glass.
Ah.
Every piece is different.
Yeah.
And when you buy it on the internet, it's a pig in a poke. You may not get, if you want white and pink swirled, you might not get as much pink as you want in it, or you might not get as much white as you want in it. Whereas if you come into an actual shop like mine, you can go through all the pieces that I have and find the one that's perfect for the design that you're making.
Yeah, and also match the room decor that you want, things like that. And of course, we talked about the fact, you don't do this yourself. You don't stain the glass.
No, it's kind of a misnomer. The
Yeah.
glass comes to me with the color already in it. It's part of the
Yeah.
manufacturing process. It's a mix of, glass is a mix of silica, sand, potash, soda ash, and a few other things. And it's melted in huge furnaces. Then metals and chemicals are added to make the colors. The glass is rolled out into big sheets. I get it in sheets that are about 2 feet wide by 4 feet long. And as it cools, it becomes hard and becomes glass.
Ah. And so if someone comes in and they don't have quite the color you want, you could actually get it for them.
If it's out there, yes. Glass colors are like paint colors. There's a million of them out there, which can make it hard choosing the right one sometimes.
Yeah. But what you also, then your main focus down there is you have classes.
I do have classes. I have 3 different kinds of classes. I have what are called make your own classes. They're 2.5-hour get your feet wet classes where people come in and they cut out a design out of stained glass. They grind it on a grinder so it's smooth and fits together. They foil it and then solder it together. Right now we're registering for Make Your Own St. Patrick's Day sun catchers.
Yes, you have one right here.
Yeah, I have.
A couple of them, yeah.
Yeah, we have 3 different designs we're doing. We're doing
The Trinity.
Celtic knot.
Yeah.
We're doing a shamrock and
Oh,
an Irish flag.
yes.
We always have at least three designs, an easy one, a medium one, and one that's more challenging for a beginner.
Then you actually, you have the little hook on it,
Yep.
so
Yep.
you can actually put the
Hang.
little suction cup and
And hang them
hang it in
in
the
the
window. And when the light comes through, it actually can shine back on the wall.
We also have beginners classes, which is an 8-week structured course. It starts out the very first class. People make a sun catcher so they can go home and show their friends, look, I made this. In subsequent weeks, they make a small stained glass panel, about 8 by 10, 15 to 20 pieces. In the middle of the class, we make a jewelry box, so that they can learn 3-dimensional work.
Is that what you have right
Yep,
here?
yep, this is a jewelry box here.
Ah.
And at the end of the class, the students choose their own project, and they come in and they make their project, I help them out. So in the 8 weeks, they go from knowing nothing about stained glass to being able to execute their own design with only a little bit of help.
Wow.
And then the third kind of class that we have isn't really a class, it's called Open Studio.
Yep.
And that is where people who have some experience in stained glass can come in, they rent bench space, have access to all the tools and the equipment in the shop, and they can work on their projects. And if they need a little guidance, how do I go to the next step. I've never made this before. How do I execute it? I can help them out with that. That's just an hourly rate so that students can use it as little or as much as they need to.
Oh, I see. Yeah, so and how much they need, how long it'll last.
Mm-hmm.
And do you find they keep this up once they take all these classes? And
Some do, some don't. I myself fell in love with making stained glass the very first class I took 35 years ago. And some people do that. Some people will make stained glass for a little while, or they have one specific project in mind, and then they get away from it. Some people just keep making stuff and giving it to their friends and their neighbors because it's their favorite hobby.
wow. Now, yeah, I lost my train of thought. I never do
Sorry.
that, but sometimes that happens to me. I'm getting old.
We all are.
But yeah, so how did you ever get into this?
I was a senior in college, and for the first time,
And we're gonna say Emerson.
Emerson.
So you were in communication school,
Yep.
and you got into stained glass.
Yeah. Well, when I got out of, I started doing this when I was in college. For the first time in years, I didn't have any night classes. So I said, what do I do with myself? I looked at into a local art foundation, found this
Wow.
stained glass. That sounds interesting. And like I said, I just fell in love with doing it from the first day.
Wow.
And I think because I loved doing jigsaw puzzles as a kid,
Yeah.
and there's a very jigsaw puzzly aspect to putting together little pieces of glass and creating a design, I think that my love of jigsaws just fell into a love of stained glass.
Well, what you do now is you take the metal and shape that first, right?
Not really. In traditional
Or
stained
you
glass,
shape it around the glass?
yeah. Well, in traditional stained glass, I brought some props here.
Yeah, that's great.
The glass is fit into a lead channel,
Uh-huh.
and then the channels are soldered where they meet. But lead is only so flexible, and won't fit around the pieces very well sometimes.
Yeah, because you do shapes here.
Yep.
I mean, some pretty intricate shapes.
So in the 1800s, glass artists said, well, we want to use more intricate cuts. We want to use smaller pieces than lead allows. So they developed a method of using copper foil. This is a copper foil tape that we use. The pieces are cut out. They're wrapped in the copper foil tape, and then solder is melted onto the copper. Solder is a mix of tin and lead.
Yeah,
It's melted onto the copper, and that's what forms the framework that holds the glass together.
and that's what turns to silver.
Right. So the pieces are actually cut out first.
Mm-hmm.
They're wrapped in the copper foil tape and then soldered together.
Oh,
This method of construction was made famous by the Tiffany Studios in New York,
Tiffany glass is very
Which is-
famous and very
yeah.
expensive.
which is why this is also known as it's the copper foil method or Tiffany style stained glass.
Oh,
I do both leaded glass and Tiffany. I definitely prefer Tiffany style because of the versatility and the size and the shape of the designs that you can use.
and if you have any Tiffany, you've got something worth some.
If you have real Tiffany glass from the Tiffany Studios, yeah, it can be.
Are they still in business?
No,
No, so-
not as a glass production company. Obviously, the jewelry
Yeah,
part of the business
yeah.
is still in business, and some of the glass blowing is still done, but not the stained glass part.
Because it kind of went out of vogue.
It did in the 1930s and 40s.
So now, like I say, if you find it, and it's out there,
It is.
there's people that own it from many years ago because of family heirloom.
Yep.
And yeah, now you can repair it as well, right?
Yes, I do repairs. I do simple repairs. You have a broken piece in a lamp, a broken piece in a side light on your door.
Yeah.
Something's missing stuff. I'll do small repairs like that. When it gets into complete restoration, like a window's falling apart or the whole thing has to be taken apart and redone, there are studios in this area that specialize in that.
Oh,
Massachusetts has some of the best church restoration window companies in the world. I let the big guys handle those.
Yeah, I mean, we're familiar with stained glass with church windows, very common.
Mhm.
And, but I don't know if you see that anymore when they build new churches.
They do, but the designs are certainly more modern than the
Yeah.
traditional designs, the traditional painted figures.
Right. I mean, this is quite the job that you do here. I mean, it's really something that to get into. I don't know if I'm not a good guy. I'm not working, I don't like working with my hands as much as some people. I'm not that good at it. But some people are very good at it. But this is, now, but like I say, you can go in there, you have things on display, like we show right here,
Yeah.
that you can go in and purchase.
We do have a lot of giftware. We have jewelry boxes. We have mirrors, like this flower design over here is actually a hand mirror. We do sandblasted glassware.
So
Like-
this is actually a mirror?
Yep, turn it over, it's a mirror on the other side.
Ah, see?
Yep.
So, yeah, that's a nice hand mirror.
We have sun catchers. We have, like I said, sandblasted glassware like beer mugs and wine glasses and bridal toasting sets. We can do custom sandblasting. I'm doing a set of rocks glasses for a birthday gift
Oh, so
right now.
you actually do custom work for people that, like if a local bar wanted to get glasses for themselves, or if someone has you have a wedding or an anniversary or anything like that coming up, that makes a great gift,
Yeah.
a great memento.
Yeah. There are places that do laser engraving, and they can do very, very detailed work. But I like the hand.
Well, I think
nature.
in the long run, doing it by hand, it brings more value to it.
And it looks different too. It looks
But
looks like you
it's
took
really
the
crafted
time.
then. If you do we're doing it by laser, it's being done on a machine, and it loses the intricacy of craftsmanship.
Yeah.
And when you do it by hand, not two are going to be identical.
Nope.
So that brings it even more value to it.
I think so.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well,
I think
anyone who collects will tell you that.
they have a nicer look to them than just the rigid, zip 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 look to them.
Right. I mean, and same with the crafting, the different things you make. I mean, I'm sure you can buy a lamp like that that's manufactured and everything looks exactly the same, but it's not the same. Whereas this shows that this was handmade. It's like, we talk about anything being handmade. It brings more value to it. Of course, it's more value to it because it takes longer to make.
That it does. One of the things that teaching classes has done is introduce a lot of people to exactly what's involved in making stained glass and how long it does take. I've done shows and had people come up to me and say, well, why should I pay you, $300 for that when I can make it in my oven? I don't know if you remember those old little plastic crystals you used to put in, you'd bake them in your oven.
Yes.
This is not that at all.
No, not even close.
No.
That's plastic.
It is. Yep.
This is glass. This is real glass. And you're not going to manufacture this in your oven.
No. It's very labor intensive to make. Take this box here, for example. That box alone probably takes 2.5 or 3 hours to construct.
Oh, I can understand that. You're talking a lot of solder work.
It's the cutting and the fitting and getting everything just right. I do, windows that can take 13, 14 hours. I've done custom windows that take a week and a half just for one window.
Yep.
And that's, 40 hours, 8 hours a day, just to produce one window. And so you don't get rich. You don't
I
get
know
rich
you
at
also, we have one in our house, is a cabinet door that's got stained glass. My wife wanted it. We did that, 30 years ago. And we bought it when we bought the cabinets. But somebody had to make that because They don't manufacture those, do they? Those are handmade.
Yeah, well, in some degree they are. If you go into Home Depot or Lowe's, you can find cabinets with glass inserts. The glass itself is actually cut with what's called a plasma cutter. So there is a machine that cuts them so that they're all exactly the same cut, but they still have to be assembled by hand.
Yeah, it's got to be mounted and put into the frame and.
Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of that assembly is done overseas, where the labor costs are less.
Right.
So a lot of the stained glass that you see in this country, the stained glass lamps that you see at Light and Leisure, or the fireplace surrounds that you see in the Christmas catalogs, they're made overseas. And there's no way that I can compete with that kind of labor cost.
Well, no, I mean, the cost of living is a lot higher here.
Yep.
The cost of doing business is a lot higher. But is it the same? Is it the real same craftsmanship?
It's not the same quality
No.
that you would find in a shop like mine.
Right.
It's just, put the pieces together, get it out of here. Put the next one together, get it out of here.
Exactly. It's probably done on an assembly line. Whereas yours is from start to finish the same person.
And, of course, as a craftsperson, I take a great deal of pride in what I do and making it to the very best piece that I can make. The people who buy from me are buying from me.
Right.
So they know, if they don't like it, if it's not right, they know who to come to. So I want it to be absolutely right.
And you're taking pride in each individual thing that you do because that's your individual item that's going to be in their home or in their place of business, whoever purchase.
And I have to say, even after 35 years of doing this, to me it's still so pleasing when someone says, here, I will give you my hard-earned money for your work.
Yes.
Because it means that they value me, and like I said, even after 35 years, it's still thrilling.
I can understand that. You're getting something back for what you did, and I know my son was extremely impressed. He bought quite a few items.
Yeah, I was going to add, how did they like the glasses?
Oh, they love them. And he's very happy with. He thought the work was excellent. He thought it looked great.
Thank you very much.
Very happy. And like I said, the thing is that you're offering, if someone has a wedding coming up, I mean, we've been married, well, next year will be 50 years. We have these cups that we drank wine toast out of. We still got them, it's silver. With, engraved with the date and all that. I mean, that's a nice momentum to have. That you take to the grave with you. You leave it as a family heirloom.
I actually make toasting sets.
Yeah.
For and I can engrave names and things, but I also have Superman and Wonder Woman. And pretty much anything anyone wants, we can sandblast onto glassware. Like I said, I'm currently doing a set of rocks glasses. We do beer mugs, we do wine glasses. I'm making a set of regular tumblers for a wedding gift for, well, she won't see this, for my niece.
Yeah.
She's in Texas, so she won't
Well,
see
she
it.
could, She went on the internet, she'd see it.
Yeah. But,
we have people in Florida that watch.
yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah. I have cousins in Poland that watch this show.
Well, the internet is a...
The internet is an amazing
Open the world up.
communications factor today. It changed the world.
Yeah.
Which I wanted to get into a little bit about yourself, you and your husband. You're neither of you are originally from the area.
I grew up in Holliston, which
So
isn't
you're not
too far
from
away. He, however, grew up in Houston.
Oh, wow. He's from
Yeah.
Texas
Yep.
originally, yeah.
Yeah.
You met in college?
No, actually, I did Renaissance festivals like King Richard's Fair
Yes.
around the country for about 14 years after I got out of college. That's when I got out of college, there were no jobs, so I started selling my glass. And I got to travel, I got to see the country, meet a lot of great people, including my husband.
Yeah, that's not a bad deal.
Yeah. It gets tired after a while, though.
Yeah, but you got to see a lot of the country.
I did. And I had a great time. So we met in Texas. We moved back up here in '96,
Oh,
and
did you move to Northbridge?
we originally moved to Uxbridge, actually.
Well, Claude, you're in the
Close,
valley.
yeah, and we lived there for a few years. Then we moved over to Blackstone for about 7 years.
Oh,
Around 10 years ago, we bought a house here in Northbridge,
uh-huh.
and we're still fixing it up because you're never done.
No, no, you're never done. I've been in
Yeah.
my house for over 30 years
Yeah.
and we're still doing things.
Yeah. And I have to admit, I have a day job. He
Yeah.
watches the shop during the day while I work, and then I come in mid-afternoon and evenings.
Oh, where do you work?
I work at a company in Bellingham called Blue Links. We're the largest distributor of building materials in the country.
Oh, okay.
We sell the plywood to Home Depot.
Yeah, 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 you're the,
Mhm.
distribution
Mhm.
company.
Yep.
And
Yep.
your husband works, or?
Well, he has MS.
Yeah, I know, I
And-
noticed that he
Yeah,
he uses crutches.
he does. So he has his good days. He has his bad days.
Tough disease.
Definitely is. We've been lucky that he's been stable for a number of years, but unfortunately with MS, the sword of Damocles always hangs over your head, and any day can be a bad day.
Right.
Today he's having a little trouble speaking. Some days he'll have trouble walking.
Yeah, the MS, it affects all the muscles in your body, so it can affect you in all kinds of ways.
Yeah, very strange ways. Sometimes he'll lose vision in one eye, sometimes in both,
Oh,
very briefly. We take it day to day.
that's gotta be tough where he's working with the glass and everything.
Well, he doesn't work with the glass if he's
On a
if he's
bad day.
yeah, yeah.
Because
he used
he does a lot of the work for you, right? A lot of
Well,
the cutting.
He's doing the repair work. We right now when we recently bought the contents of a closed stained glass store that the
Oh.
guy had been retired for about 15 years,
Yeah.
and they decided it was time to sell the stuff. That was a all or nothing deal, and among the all that we got were 17 stained glass lamps in various stages of disrepair.
Oh,
So he is in the process of going through them and
fixing him up.
we're deciding that they're not worth fixing up. There's a couple of them that are just
It's too far
kind of
gone.
too far gone, beyond hope.
But then you can get the glass out of them, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
And you might find something else to use it on.
Yeah. Well, especially with stained glass lamps, the pieces are generally very small. One of the lamps we have is a cherry blossom lamp, and by my estimation, there's probably 2,300 pieces of glass in this lamp.
Wow,
Yeah, all very little tiny.
that'd take a
Tiny
long
pieces.
time to put together.
That'd be about a month's work, I think.
Wow,
So it's
that's real
Yeah.
precision work.
that's real patience.
Yeah.
Real patience.
But now, are you finding you're pretty busy? Last time I talked to you had quite a few people coming in to sign up.
Well, we started out kind of slow. We opened in November, and we were open with just giftware through the Christmas season, and we did some make-your-own Christmas ornament classes.
Yeah.
And those were, they were about half full, most of them. We just finished up with our make-your-own stained glass Valentine, and we kept having to add glasses to those. We started out scheduling 3 and wound up with a total of 9 classes.
Wow. That's pretty
So,
darn good.
yeah. So the classes are going very well, and we're getting people stopping in every day, buying a little bit of supplies here, or checking us out, or saying, do you have this? So people are beginning to find us.
Did you
and-
think there was that much of a demand for stained glass in the valley here?
Well, if I
Is it
didn't, I
kind of
wouldn't
a
have opened a
surprise?
store.
Is it kind of a surprise? That
In-
there's
in
that many
some-
people coming around?
Yeah, in some ways, yes. I'm very gratified by the number of people who are us stopping in and saying, "Oh, I'm so glad that you're here." The closest place to buy glass right now is 35 minutes away.
Oh.
The next couple of closest places are over an hour.
Yeah, so
So-
you're a great convenience right there.
So as people find me and I build a clientele, I'm really hopeful that it's going to gonna take off.
Yeah, I mean, you got a good spot because you're right on a main route.
When I went to open the store, last summer, when the opportunity to do so kind of fell into my lap, I looked around at a number of places. I looked in Bellingham, I looked in Uxbridge, a couple of places here. But I've been driving by that shop for years going, that'd make a great studio. That'd make a great studio. So it was one of the places I looked at. And of all the places I looked at, it had the best street presence.
Yes.
This is a visual art. People have to see
Yeah.
it. And it's got the nice big windows. It's got a lot of
Yes.
traffic. So that's why we're there, and we're happy. It's kind of small and cozy, but for
But it's
right now,
worked
it's the
out.
right size.
Yeah, it's
In the
worked
right
out
spot.
for you.
Mhm.
And if you have to expand, then you'll take that up when it comes.
Yeah, well, when it comes.
Yeah.
I'm convinced it's going to. How long that is, we don't know. But like any place is, though, it looked bigger when it was empty. And then when
Yeah.
we started putting stuff into it, it's like,
Yeah, it's get
Yeah.
that was a good sized room, but you got a lot of things to bring in, so it does fill up pretty fast.
yeah, well, we have glass racks to store
Yeah.
the sheet glass that people buy, a place to wrap it when they buy it. We have displays, so if people are interested in having their kitchen cabinets done or having a window done, they can come in and see actual full-size pieces.
Yes.
And that H in the back there is one of the octagon windows that were put in virtually every house in the 80s and 90s.
Very
they built them.
popular.
But they're always in some awkward location that you can't put a curtain, or they're just hard to
So
deal
you,
with.
So you put the stained glass, it gives you the privacy,
Yep.
as well as it dresses up that particular spot.
And we can do windows like that. We can do a sandblasted design for about $120, and then you can go up anywhere from there depending on the style of glass, the design that you want, and the glass that you choose.
You do it in double pane, or?
Well, in general, we leave the exterior pane
Yeah,
that's
I was
already
gonna
there.
say, because you need that for the insulation.
Yes, and they're all built so that they're stepped in their design, and we set the glass in the second step, glass,
Oh,
window
okay.
glasses here.
Yeah.
So then we set the stained glass in the next step down,
Yes,
so that it's on the inside,
right.
protected from the weather by the
You
original
buy the
exterior
exterior
glass.
one, so you know and it doesn't fog up or anything like
Right.
that.
And like I said, we can do kind of any kind of design. That's about 50% of the custom windows that I do out of those octagons, because they're so ubiquitous in houses.
Now, do we have another glass place in town, Pioneer Glass? Do you work with them at all, or?
I get calls from them every now and again about repairs.
Yeah, because I'm gonna say they can't do what you do. And they
Yeah.
do help you with glass, but
Yeah.
they deal with clear glass.
Yeah, they do occasionally contact me about repair when someone needs a repair done.
Like shower doors and
Yeah, or someone has a side light next to
side-
their
yeah,
front
those
door.
are very
And,
popular.
yeah, and a piece of glass got broken, or they have a stained glass window, or they have a stained glass lamp.
Well,
Yeah.
the doors now, there's a lot of people have the doors on their house with the octagon-shaped window, but a lot of it has the
The beveled glass.
beveled glass in it, and the your solder. So you actually, if you got a broken, you break one of those windows, they need someone like you to come to repair that.
Yeah, and I can do that. Yeah. A lot of the times we can take the piece right out, cover it up while it's gone,
Yeah,
take it to the studio and repair it. People can bring us their stuff if they don't want us to, to come. And we can get them fixed up. We can usually find a matching glass or something that's similar. There are some glasses that just aren't made anymore.
then you just do,
You find the best that you can.
yeah. Well, in that case, you just do the whole window over and pick out a new one.
Well, that's always an option too.
Yeah, No,
I've I've done that in people's kitchen cabinets actually, where they don't like the glass that's there.
like something new.
Yep, and we can take it out, make them a new one that's to their taste.
And what you can do is you can actually make it more personal by putting in initials or a coat of arms or something like that, right?
Yeah, I did a stair window for a family up in Stoneham last year. They had a family crest design
Yeah,
by a friend of theirs. They liked to play board games, and the center of the family crest is a big die, like a dice.
yeah.
And so I mean, it's a Celtic knot with a big die in the middle and the family name at the bottom.
Oh,
I did that for them last year, and it was a great lot of fun.
I mean, if you're gonna stay in your house, I can see doing that. If you're gonna sell your house, I probably wouldn't put my name on it, but
There's many ways to put in windows that aren't permanent.
yeah,
In the case of that house that I did in Stoneham, it's the existing window is there,
mhm.
and this window is put in the frame with just some molding around it.
Oh, so you just
So
pop
that-
the molding out and you take that
Right.
window right out and put a different one in.
Yeah, that you don't even have to put it because the existing window is there.
Yeah,
You don't even have to put another window in. It's just not the stained glass window's just not
right,
there.
so if you're selling your house, you wanna get that name on it, cause the new
Yeah.
owner isn't gonna want your name on their house.
Yeah, frankly, I've rarely installed a window that's permanent. Almost everything I've ever installed can be removed if the homeowner decides to leave and wants to take the window with them.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing, yeah, they could take it with them to their new home.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or
that's,
even, make it into a display to put in your living room and say, this was my old house.
yeah.
My kids grew up in this house and I kept a piece of it.
Yeah. Light boxes are actually becoming very popular, where you have a stained glass window built into a frame that has a light behind it, and you hang it on the wall just like a picture.
Yes, I've
And-
heard of that. That's kind of, and you can make a custom one that would fit to them.
Mhm.
Now, I know I see that the new thing now is the glass mounted photographs,
Mm-hmm.
but you could do something with that too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I actually, for years, have done laminated photos in glass frames where you laminate a photo or any kind of picture between two thin pieces of glass and make a stained glass frame around them. They're very popular as mirrors, where you can flip them over and there's a mirror
Yeah.
on the other side. Wedding invitations are really popular to do that way.
Oh, to keep it forever.
Yep.
Yeah, we still have our wedding invitation.
Yeah, you laminate the invitation in a stained glass frame. You can hang it on the wall or make it so it sits on a shelf or a table.
What you're describing to me, if you want a gift for someone who has everything, and this is unique.
Yeah.
And this is the kind of gift that when you give it to someone, wow, I never thought of anything like this. Is beautiful. I love this
And,
because it's different.
and it's very personal and it's very,
Yeah, it becomes very
Yeah.
personal and that becomes a family heirloom.
it does. It does.
You know, they'll keep for generations. Who knows, maybe 100 years from now, say, well, look at this. Wow, this was my great-great-grandmother's.
Yeah, and when you do paper that way, it's protected so it never gets dog-eared, it never gets dirty, it never gets
Yeah.
smudged.
Yeah, it never fades, never,
Yeah.
yeah, it maintains it forever.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is really, this are unique. People gotta stop in and see you. Really, I mean, some great concepts.
Yeah, I think that glass is so incredibly versatile, and I'm lucky that people are starting to discover that as well. It's not just for windows. It's not just for doors
Right.
anymore. You can use it in your kitchen cabinets. You can make skylights. You can make lighting. You can make three-dimensional sculptures. If you look at the Mohegan Sun, they have that giant stained glass structure in their
Yeah,
lobby.
the wolf, isn't it?
It's I view it as it's supposed to be like a
Mohegan
canyon.
Sun, I'm trying.
Yeah, it's
Well,
like a
Well, wait a
canyon.
minute, isn't there, at the other one, I'm not a big gambler.
Foxwoods is the other.
Foxwood, they have the glass
Yeah.
Indian
Yeah,
that lights up and
Yeah.
the lightning comes down and all that stuff every couple of hours or something.
never been to either one of them, honestly.
Oh, okay.
But
I've been to them because I was involved with shows.
Mhm.
but I'm not a gambler.
Um,
I take my wife, she likes to play the slots.
yeah.
She plays the slots and I sit at the bar and have a couple of scotch and waters.
Yeah.
But
I'd go for the shows.
yeah, I love going for the shows.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's just it's incredibly versatile, and you can do so many different things with it. Any kind of design. You
Yeah.
can do traditional designs. You can do Victorian. You can do. I have represented here. This is a quilt pattern on the top of this box. The little panel that I have down here is Art Nouveau. You can do any
So
kind of
you
art
could,
style.
if you have a, you know, so if you want to give an award out, you
Mhm.
could actually design an award that would
Mhm.
fit what the purpose is.
Mhm. Yeah.
Or even if you want to make a special gift for someone, commemorating a certain event or something like
Yeah.
that.
Do a design that would complement that. And I have all sorts of design resources available. I have traditional stained glass pattern books. I use quilt patterns a lot. And of course, we talked about the internet earlier. The internet is
Oh my
the
God.
world's biggest research library. You
I
can
know,
find anything on it.
I call
Yeah.
it the new Library of Alexandria.
Yep.
You know, the Library of Alexandria had all the knowledge of the world. Well, now the internet is the Library of Alexandria. That's all the knowledge in the world is on that
Yeah.
internet.
And as an artist, the inspiration that I get in seeing what other people do, I will sometimes just go on and Google stained glass and
Yep.
just look at pictures and go,
But if someone had a
beautiful.
concept in their mind, could come in,
Mhm.
sit down with you and say, okay, here's what I'm looking at, and you could work it out together, you know, get
Yep.
a couple of minds going here and say, all right, here's what we can do. Because virtually you can do anything.
you can, you know, if you can draw a picture of it, you can make it in stained glass.
Yeah, I mean, because you shape it to whatever you want.
Yep.
Wow, isn't that, yeah, like I said, you could make such a unique gift to really fit someone's, whatever they're into, you know, something you may not find anywhere.
Yeah, and I'm always up for a challenge. You know, so making something I've never made before, working in a design that I've never, a style
Do you
that
have
I've
people
never
coming
done.
in looking for something unique?
Yeah, yeah. That's what custom design work is about.
Yeah.
You know,
I know you
Yeah.
advertise on
Yeah.
your sign,
Mhm.
stained glass supplies.
Mhm.
So you're catering to the people that do work with stained glass.
Yep.
And like you said, the nearest store is 35 miles away,
Yep.
35 minutes away. So I can understand that, but you also are trying to draw in clientele just to come in to buy a gift.
well, luckily my sign is very changeable. I have a movable
Yes.
letter sign.
Yes.
And I do, usually every few weeks or every couple of weeks, I'll go out and change it. So sometimes it will say,
Well, that's a good idea, because
custom
people
design.
constantly going by, they'll be checking it out to see, oh, changed.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
catches their
Yeah,
attention.
sometimes I'll advertise the custom design work, or Mother's Day will be coming up. I'm sure I'll have
Yeah.
Mother's Day gifts available.
Well, actually, you can come up with some nice permanent Easter gift.
Yeah,
You know, instead of a chocolate rabbit, give the kid a glass rabbit.
and
Wouldn't that be to hang in the window?
I'll have to do some bunnies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they got it forever.
Um,
And like I said, this stuff becomes an heirloom. This stuff, you know, if you gave a child, a 6-year-old, something like that, when they're in their 60s, this thing is still with them, and worth of, you know, this is handmade. You're gone. The person who made it was probably gone,
Yeah.
and yet there it is.
I hope so. I used to have a store years ago down at Edaville Railroad
Ah, yes,
back in the 80s and 90s.
yeah,
And I sold a lot of my stained glass there. A lot of sun catchers with, especially Christmas ornaments, with
yeah.
people's names on them. And I hope that you know, little Alan, whose mother bought him a little train ornament, has
Yeah.
grown up today and still hangs that on his Christmas tree.
Exactly, that's what I mean. If you got, you know, it's a traditional. I have ornaments from my mother's Christmas tree, and she's been long gone now for 20 years. And you know, it holds a momentum to you. And that means a lot. A lot of people do that. They have ornaments that they hand down. And yeah, that's great. I mean, and like I said, it gives you a great memento of that particular year. That was the year that kid visited Edaville, and I had such a good time. Yeah, and it brings back, and it's a great way of, and they pass that down to their kids.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I just,
But now you were in Edaville. You were inside the place,
Mhm.
so you had to buy a ticket to get to your store.
yeah. Back then, it was more of a turn-of-the-century railroad theme park than it is
Yes.
today. We had all kinds of craftsmen and artists working there.
Yeah.
And I had a store called the Hideaway Craft Shop, which was in the same building as the train repair shop.
Oh,
I was down a little set of
I haven't
stairs.
been there in up to
Yeah.
years, but
Well, the building that I was in is no longer there, sadly.
oh,
But we sold all American-made crafts in the store.
yeah.
So we were open from spring through Christmas while Edaville was open. And,
Take the train ride through the cranberry bogs. I remember doing
yeah,
it. Now, that's where they have King Richard's Fair.
it's down the street from King Richard's Fair, is about a mile down the street from
Yeah.
Edaville. It's,
And that's
It is
quite
a
an
little-
event in itself.
Yeah,
You still do that?
I did up until, well, I did it this year. I did kind of have to make a decision during the show this year, whether I was going to go back next year. It's a very big monetary commitment because it's not just the supplies to make the stuff that I sell. There's the booth fee that I pay there.
Yeah, and
There's
I'm
the
sure they
tra-
don't give that away.
No, they don't. It's no more expensive than doing, say, a show at the Big E or at the Seaport in Boston or anything like that. But it is, because it's 8 weeks, it's
Yeah, it's a long.
a chunk of money.
Yeah.
And, there's also the travel expenses, an hour and a half drive down in the morning,
Yeah,
an hour and a half
and you're
drive down
talking a
back down.
2-month commitment.
So I had to make the decision that I wouldn't be going back in 2020. If circumstances change and I'm able to free up some time and free up some money, who knows? Things
You
could
find
change,
you
I
get a
could go
good
back.
You get a good clientele coming through.
Oh yeah, I have collectors actually who
Oh,
would go to the show and collect a different piece every year. At King Richard's Fair, I did kind of a little bit different stuff. I did 3-dimensional fairies and dragons and mermaids.
those are
Yeah.
that's what those people are going to go for.
Yeah, they had pewter bodies, which were cast by friends of mine down in Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
and then I would make stained glass wings for them.
Oh,
So that's a lot of. I also sold my panels, my stained glass panels and boxes and things, but mostly it was the dragons and fairies.
yeah.
Um,
Now, how
So-
about the flea markets? We'll take like Brimfield. Do you ever go do any of those?
no, when at flea markets, people are looking for a bargain.
Yeah. Looking for next to
yeah,
nothing.
Yeah, and the two
And
don't
they're looking for
really
more
meet.
collectible,
Mhm.
you might say antique items.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a different kind of market.
Yeah.
I really try to stick with craft shows and events like folk festivals and things like that,
Yeah.
where there's an expectation of quality handcrafts.
Right.
So you kind of pick and choose what your market's going to be.
The craft market is getting very big in Northbridge.
Yeah.
If you go down
Yeah.
Church Street, I
Mhm.
mean, so you're right in the right area.
Mhm.
Because,
Yeah.
competition attracts competition.
Yep.
So that's what you really want.
Well, I found it very interesting since we've been in our location in November. We've had quite a few other artisans stop by inquiring about the next space over, because we're only renting part of the building, of course.
Right, yeah, there's 2 other well,
right.
no, there's only one left now, right?
One left, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, there's not even the one left. There's a cabinet shop is going in there.
Oh,
There are people I do business with over in Bellingham. They make kitchen cabinets, and when people are looking for stained glass inserts, they send them to my to my direction.
oh, so that's how they found out where you were, and they,
But since we've been there in November, quite a few artists have stopped by inquiring about the space, whether it was for rent or not.
oh, wow.
So yeah, it's there's
Yeah,
definitely a big art community in the area.
It's turning that way. I've been on a planning board for a number of years. I was on, got off, I'm back. And I always said that the downtown, you know, I'm old enough to remember when we had shoe stores and jewelry stores and department stores downtown. Those days are gone. Those aren't going to be in downtowns anymore. What you have coming in is specialty shops. And I'm talking not just specialty clothing, but crafts, the big thing. And you know, maybe boutiques and secondhand stores. We call them not thrift shops, but consignment store. And that's a good draw because people go for that. And we got a number of crafts. I mean, in a downtown.
Well, it's a.
You ought to look into getting involved with the sidewalk sale. Right?
That's been recommended to me.
Yeah.
And in fact, I do have a little push cart that I could set up on the sidewalk somewhere.
Yeah, and get your name out to get the word out that way. Yeah, that would be a great. That's a big draw.
Yeah.
And same with the 01588 shop small.
Yeah, I just kind of missed the deadline for that this year. There was a little hold up on my funding for starting the shop.
Yeah.
So I was pushed off by about a month longer than I wanted to be.
Right.
But definitely next year I will be getting
Yeah,
involved
because
with
you
that.
started in November of last year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you were right on it. You had to be ready by then. I mean,
Yeah.
it came at the Friday after Thanksgiving, so Saturday after Thanksgiving. But yeah, so that's kind of tight. But now you're getting established, and like I say, I'm amazed at how many are doing, and they're all doing well.
Yeah, it's
But there's a big interest in crafts today.
Yeah. Well, there is definitely a resurgence in the desire for something that's well made.
Yes.
And is not just cookie cutter. I can get it anywhere. I can order it off of Amazon.
I think because we have so many machines now and things to make everything for us, that people want to get back to doing some handcrafting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that work with wood or work with glass and to make their own things. And just to be able to be creative. Everybody has that creative feeling in them.
Yeah.
You know, I'm kind of like a writer, and I like to do creative stuff with my voice and with writing, but a lot of people like to do creative things with their hands.
I've always said that everybody has a talent. It's
Yeah.
just a matter of figuring out what that talent is.
Right.
For me, I tried painting,
Yeah.
and my style was described as extremely primitive. I tried pottery, and my vase turned into a candle holder. I can't knit to save my life, but the day I touched glass, I found my spot. And I think that everybody should just try everything that they want to try until they find the one that fits.
And there's nothing more relaxing than working with your hands like this, right?
And it's not even just your hands, like you said. You're a writer.
Yeah.
There's people who sing, people who make music.
Yeah.
Talent isn't just a physical thing. Talent is in your mind too.
And we need this. You have to break away from your regular, especially if your regular job. Even if you love your job, you need to break away from it and be able to do something different.
Yeah. Well,
And you're giving people a chance to come in and learn how to do this now.
Yeah. I'm very surprised at the number of people who say to me, "Well, stained glass is on my bucket list."
Now, does this take any kind of special equipment?
It does take especially you need glass
Soldering
cutters,
iron.
you need a soldering iron.
But that's pretty basic.
Yeah, and a grinder is really helpful to shape and smooth the glass. But they're all things that are readily available.
Yeah, and for not that much money.
No, the tools are not the expensive part. The glass itself is the expensive part of making it. It's not. It's one of the most expensive mediums to work in.
That's what I wanted to get into with that. I forgot to ask about. Glass, of course, made from sand. And there's got to be a difference in the quality of the sand that you buy, right? That you can get.
Yeah, there's definitely a difference in the quality of glass. And it depends on the manufacturer.
Being from Massachusetts, I'm sure you're familiar with Sandwich, because that was a glass capital of the world at one time. And why? Because Sandwich has that great sand there on Cape Cod,
Yeah.
down on Sandy Neck Beach.
Yep.
You ever been there?
Yep.
Yeah,
Remember,
so,
you know.
I mean, that made this, the glass industry down
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with, sandwich glass and with pear point.
Yeah, and that's a special glass.
Yep. Yeah. And definitely the quality of glass that you can get is different. Every manufacturer makes the glass a little different.
Yeah,
Some make very hard glass, which is beautiful but hard to work with. Some make softer glasses, which are more commercial, but for the beginner is a nice start.
yeah,
Um,
but no plastic.
no plastic. No.
I mean,
The
plastic.
soldering iron would just melt it.
Yeah, plastic has replaced glass in a lot of places, but you
It
can't
has.
replace it here.
Yeah, no, it doesn't look the same. It has a different quality to it, just sort of flat.
It looks imitation.
Yep.
I mean,
Whereas-
you can tell.
You definitely can tell. And if you can't tell, well, then that's okay for you.
Yeah.
But I'll take the real thing.
Oh yeah, but I mean, but you can tell. I mean, plastic looks like plastic.
Yeah.
It's not the same, and it works good on some things, but it's not going to work good on stained glass.
No.
Yeah, like you say, you get those swirls and that really takes. It's the way the glass is heated.
And it can take a while too to find the right glass for a project, just because there's so many different textures and so many different densities of glass. You can get clear glass, you can get wispy
Yeah,
glass, you can get opalescent glass, you can get opaque glass.
I look at this
Yeah.
and you can see that texture in it.
Mhm.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
really. This really, I love this knot. I mean, especially if I'm not Irish though.
That's okay.
But yeah, I mean, I know people with Irish, they like to put their symbols out there, and we got St. Patrick's Day's coming up in
Coming up,
less than a month now, I guess.
Yeah. That's
About a month.
Celtic knots are one of my most popular designs in everything
Yeah.
that I do, from the sandblasted glassware to sun catchers to windows.
Yeah,
I do a lot of different styles of Celtic knots, not just the Trinity knot,
but
and
you
they're
know,
all very popular.
Americans were made up of all kinds of nationalities, and people like to emphasize that once in a while. I got two. I got my mother was French Canadian and my father was Polish, so I don't know, maybe have two flags.
Well, the Polish flag's easy to do, and the French flag's easy to do.
Yeah, well, French flag's tricolor.
Yeah, it would just be this in blue, white, and red.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the Polish flag, if I
It's
remember,
got the eagle.
okay, it does have an eagle, because it's
It's
a white and a red.
It's white with it's red with a white
Yeah.
dot with the black eagle, with the white eagle. The white eagle, white eagle. It's a white
Yeah,
eagle.
that might have to be done as like a stencil, but
Yeah, you can have them crossed, and to show the heritage.
see, I'm easy. I'm French and Irish, so I could have just the tricolors.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Of course, the Irish flag, it's quite. You got the green
Mhm.
for the Celtics,
Mhm.
and the orange is the Orangemen,
Yep.
which is the British,
Mhm.
and the white is the piece that joins them together.
To keep them from fighting.
Yeah, people realize that. That's where the orange and the green come into the
Yeah.
flag.
Yeah.
It's quite a unique situation. But yeah, I mean, this is. I tell people, you got to stop in. It's well worth it. I mean, just
I hope they do.
to see what you got on display. I mean, it's so unique down there, and we can see that's your wrapping table.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you take it. Some of the stuff you have takes up a lot of space.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because you'd have more room for display, but
Yeah, well, like I said, the place looked a little bigger when it was empty.
oh yeah,
And then we did, like I said, we had the opportunity to purchase the contents of a closed stained glass store
yeah.
from Vermont, and we made 3 trips
Wow.
up and back to bring it all back. And we have a big van,
That had to be a nightmare too, carrying glass, because you gotta be very
Yeah.
careful.
Yeah, well, we made special racks in the back of the van and packed them nice and tight so that the
Yeah.
glass couldn't move. We did have some breakage on the way. I'm still actually still today going through all of the glass that we got.
Wow.
And there's some that we have that they don't even make anymore.
There's something there now.
Yeah.
That's a real heirloom.
Yeah. I have colored glue chip glasses. I have a glass called Baroque from a company called Spectrum that they
It's
they
no
really
longer
don't
in
make
business.
anymore. Some beautiful, beautiful colors. But I also have some of the workaday glass. I've got glass that runs from about $4 a square foot up to $75 a square foot.
Wow.
So, you know, it's
That's a heck of a range.
yeah. And it's a heck of a variety.
Yeah.
Glass is just incredible.
So if someone
That's
has a
incredible.
concept, they stop in and see you. There's no doubt you'll be able to come up with something.
Yep, absolutely. Find the colors they want, find
Yeah.
the textures they want, find a design they want, and then execute it.
Before we're running low on time now. It goes fast, doesn't
It
it?
does.
What are your hours so people will know if they're looking?
Well, currently we're open Wednesdays from 2 to 9 p.m. We're open Thursdays from 10 to 9 p.m. Fridays from 10 to 7 p.m. So if people want to pick up glass for their weekend project on the way home, we'll
Yeah.
still be there. And then Saturdays from 10 to 5.
Okay.
We'll expand the hours as
As
it
needed.
warrants it.
Yeah, it's warranted.
Mhm.
If customers want it, then you'll be there.
Yep.
Yeah, and
And I myself am there most afternoons
Yeah.
and in the evenings. My husband Clayton, who is very helpful,
yeah,
is there in the mornings. And
he's into the glass too.
yeah, he's learning.
Yeah.
We've been married for 25 years, and since I opened the store, he's really jumped right in and
Yeah.
is just supporting me wholeheartedly, which is wonderful.
Very important when the husband and wife are in business together. You both have to be committed.
And he wants to make me happy, and this is what makes me happy. So,
Yeah.
and I am so grateful for his support every single day.
And you know, it's a little tougher for him. He's up here. He left his family
Yeah.
and moved from
Yeah.
beautiful state of Texas
Yeah.
up to Massachusetts, where it's.
Yeah.
What part of Texas were you from?
Houston.
Houston, so a little bit warmer than here.
Yeah, he likes the cold weather.
Oh, okay. Well, he's all set.
Yeah.
But we have another cold winter.
Not this year.
Yeah,
Not
it's
this
gonna
year.
be cold tomorrow, but we get a couple of days of cold and we're back to.
I think it's going to be an early spring, and my garden will be going in April.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, that's another thing. You can get great garden ornaments.
in fact, for Mother's Day, we're going to be having a mosaic stepping stone class
Oh.
in May for people to make a stepping stone for the garden, a custom stepping
Yeah.
stone.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you can put a message on it.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's becoming quite popular.
Yep.
Is stepping stones with messages.
Hmm. Or if Mom likes bunnies, we can have bunnies
A bunny,
on it.
yeah.
We can come up with any kind of design that they want to do and
Okay.
make them in a mosaic stepping stone.
Well, thank you for coming in, Carol.
So thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. And next week, we're going to have a lady here from the animal recovery people who actually, they're having a course on how to give your pet resuscitation, CPR. So we'll see you next week on About the Valley.